I am feeling deeply and horrifically ambivalent about the new Democratic leadership election, which is taking place in just over 3 days or something, 4 days, something like that. I think it's on the 28th. I don't know how to count anymore, but it's in less than a week. Um, and we're in dire straits here in Canada. Like everywhere, things are tough. The economy is a nightmare. The cost of living is out of control. And we're trapped with the same back and forth between neoliberal and neoconservative or hardline old conservative solutions that haven't provided solutions before and don't seem to be providing solutions now. Whether you look at our current prime minister, Mark Carney, a liberal who is a progressive conservative in all but name, and his obsession with big business infrastructure projects, or the closest thing to to the opposition that we have, the leading opposition, which is the conservatives under Pierre Poilievre, with their nativist, anti-immigrant, anti-trans, culture war, Donald Trump playbook nonsense. Those are the two big options we have. So it would be nice to have something else, to have our Zoran Mamdani or some sort of left alternative. And the New Democrats are looking for their new leader, post Jagmeet Singh, and they're struggling. They had a really bad last election. They're down to I think now that Lori Idlu jumped to the Liberals, they're down to four or five members in the parliament. And this is a time where we really need something vital and exciting. And if you listen to a lot of the more left-leaning political commentators or journalists or news people, a lot of who I respect, whether it be Rachel Gilmore, David Dole, this is an exciting election. There's some cool candidates. As someone who also represents, I guess, a part of the New Democratic base, a annoyingly college-educated, urban, big city, academic type, I'm not feeling as excited. I'm not feeling as enthusiastic about any of these candidates. None of them really excite me when it comes to being a new leader of the New Democratic Party. I'm deeply ambivalent about all of them, which does not bode well when this is supposed to be the new kick of our future, moving on from a leader that we've had for almost a decade. But let me break down the kind of candidates we have right now. So, am I gonna edit? No, this is my fucking first real video here. This is gonna be low effort. So sorry, I'm not gonna put their faces up on this side of me like a proper YouTuber would. Give me a freaking few views first. Say you like it, and then we'll see if we can get to the big stuff like editing. But I'll actually touch on the front runners last because I think I have the most to say about them. But so you got Tony McQuail. Seems like a nice guy. Basically should be agreeing. Everybody keeps saying. And I actually think that's a great thing. I think the division between the Greens and the New Democrats is silly. I mean, obviously a lot of Greens are green capitalists, eco-capitalists, in which case I don't really know how much they're dedicated to a realistic achievement of their green objectives. But nevertheless, kind of what I'm getting at through that is that I think it would be nice to combine the environmentalist movement and a social democratic socialist movement. I mean, I would like the New Democrats to be socialists. That would be, another wish here. But nevertheless, I think Tony McQuail bringing that kind of green vision to the party is good. Similarly, I like Tenille Johnson's, I haven't heard that much about her, sorry. Tenille, and that's the problem with these two. They seem very nice. Tenille seems nice and, practical and focused on, small, human issues that we have to overcome. These are the issues that matter and that higher ups in politics and the economy and all of these things lose sight of when they are used to being in those comfortable positions. Pierre Poilievre's been in politics since he was 25 years old. Mark Carney's, been a banker and an administrator and a finance guy for decades at this point. It's nice to have real people in touch with real issues and day-to-day grounded experiences. But they aren't really exciting people. They're not the party leaders that are going to move things forward in our future. I think they're great voices. I'd love to see them continue to be involved in the party, run, maybe try and pick up a seat in Parliament or at the provincial level. But who knows? But either of them, they don't have a huge chance. They're not that exciting. Next, we'll move on to the guy in third. Rob Ashton. I'm scared I'm going to say it wrong. Rob Ashton, yeah. Longshoreman, big union guy, wanting to, I was excited when I first heard about him. He was wanting to bring back this kind of basic nails. This basic, nuts and bolts. There we go. This basic nuts and bolts sort of approach, like union working class focused approach to New Democrats. I thought it was cool. And then as his campaign went on, his political acumen, his ability to rise to the moment left a lot in doubt for me. It's a stupid thing, and I'm not really a extremely Butlerian jihad, we need to destroy all AI type person. I have a lot of problems with it, don't get me wrong, but I'm not knee jerk but the using AI to respond to a public I think it was on Reddit Q&A was a pretty bad look, and I didn't love that. Doesn't really communicate that you're in touch with the future concerns of the working class when you're, even just from an optics perspective, using a tool that people associate with the rising cost of living and the scarcity in future work. So, frontrunners: Avi Lewis, Heather McPherson. But wait, there's also Yves Engler. Except he's not actually being allowed to run. Now, I have my problems with Yves. I don't think he's perfect. He's a little bit too... he's just he's not somebody who makes friends, right? And I think to a degree, if you're going to bother participating in the parliamentary process, we can debate whether that's worthwhile. It isn't always. But if you're going to, you kind of need to sort of be able to do some of the alliancing and stuff like that. Yves Engler is not that kind of guy. He's loud in your face for right reasons and on the right causes. And I've been but he wasn't allowed to compete for a bunch of different reasons. And then I've seen him be essentially smeared, because of things like having an understanding of the genocide in Rwanda that framed it around class, and in the construction of class status that took place through colonialism and imperialism in the region. They got flattened by people who oppose his firmly democratic socialist credentials, into being somehow him saying that there was no genocide, when it was instead, he was saying the genocide around these ethnic lenses is a deliberate colonial flattening of the actual complexity of the situation. Anyway, he's also kind of a dick. Sometimes people are dicks. But that whole discourse around him, and with him being the only, avowed socialist, Avi Lewis has touched on that a bit, but, endorsed by the Democratic Socialist wing of the New Democrats, that he got this, smear even from kind of independent media, I found really disheartening and discouraging, leading us to our two big frontrunners. Heather McPherson, who I do like generally, but has been doing all this, we don't need purity tests, we need, a party that appeals to regular people kind of centrist signaling, that I don't find exciting. And that's the thing. Again, we should be trying to make the New Democrats exciting right now. And who is excited about centrism? You might look at all these people saying they love Mark Carney and think that's what Canadians are excited about, but that's not excitement. That's just some sort of status quo, slight happiness with the general way things are supposed to be. Now we got rid of one, Justin wasn't working out over the long term. Now we're back to how Canada should be, which is, not good. They might think it's good. It's not good. I don't want those people. That's not exciting. So Avi Lewis is exciting. He wants to, challenge a lot of status quo. He's calling out military spending, calling out some NATO stuff, calling out the war in Iran. But my problem with him is we have an institutional, elitist problem. He is, for all the ways he might be able to communicate to it and appeal to it, he is of an opposite origin from the grounded, regular, everyday people, Tony McQuail and Tenniel Johnson I was just talking about. His grandfather led the New Democrats. He was one of the members of the CCF. He helped found the New Democrats from their predecessor. And at the time, he used his power and rank and prestige to hold on to some of the position within the party executive and to keep further left members or further left voices from being powerful and heard. Avi's father, Stephen, did much the same when he was the leader of the provincial Ontario New Democrats during the 1970s. Which, the son is not necessarily the father or the grandfather, but even being a third generation political leader in a party is not necessarily what I'm looking for in a socialist or even social democrat party. Like, come on. That is not cool to me. And Naomi Klein's a great author, but she is an author, a successful author, and has been for decades. I've seen them laughing at the minor environmentalist work or whatever of people on the prairies that is meaningful and matters because it's not their big hoity-toity, whatever, like rubbing elbows with the tops of the activist class, essentially the liberal to even socialist activist class, a certain type of upper middle to upper class people. And again, it's not about them being that they need to be a perfect candidate. That's not what I'm saying. But when you can see how I'm getting animated about this, I think about all these things, all this laundry list of ugh that comes to mind as this asterisk I have whenever I hear Avi Lewis's name, who otherwise maybe sounds like the best candidate. And this is where I'm left. This is how I'm feeling. I'm not feeling good, man. I'm not feeling good. I want a new Democratic Party that makes me excited, that says we are going to change Canada and that we are the people who are in touch with that change from the ground up. I wouldn't want me leading the party right now. A cushy historian guy, an academic. I can't, as much as I might be able to communicate like Avi, I can't get that excitement going the same way. Or hey, like, really move people. We need something that will promise a real change, not just the right sloganeering from people who have benefited from positions of systemic and institutionalized power and status, not people who are going to appeal to centrists, not people who are too out of touch with the here and now to understand why using AI might be a bad look. And maybe that person doesn't exist. Maybe I'm crawling around screaming for something that isn't out there. But I don't know. I don't think this is the best we can do. Do you?